If you are a creative entrepreneur who has just begun your journey or has been on your journey for some time and you're finding it discouraging as of late because you may not have a strong support system and it seems like there's a lot of adversity coming your way and you've been wanting some motivation to keep you moving forward, this video is for you. I simply am going to have straight talk. I didn't do any scripting or formatting or anything for this video. I want to talk about the importance of persisting because there are going to be challenges that you face. And you've heard me talk about a concept that I was introduced to by my mentor, Myron Golden, concerning disruption following our intention. And this is a pattern for us believers that we can find in the Bible many times. So I believe that the Lord allowed us to see this pattern so we wouldn't be discouraged when adversity shows up. Because I believe the bigger objectives you have for creating value and solving problems in the marketplace, you're going to face bigger challenges. And I don't think that you should allow that to discourage you. I believe that you should persist no matter what, because we find it oftentimes easy to persist when things are going great. We're getting a lot of positive feedback in those moments, and we know that we're on the right path. But what happens is when a black swan rears its ugly head, that means something that's an unexpected challenge, and it may feel or seem overwhelming at the time. And we may not have an immediate answer in these moments. And it almost feels like even though we've made some effort and progress, we begin to question, was it actually worth it? And the answer is an astounding, resounding yes. We have to remain persistent when these challenges show up. Now, some of these challenges could be indicators that we may need to pivot and change. And that's normal. If we're actually communicating out in the marketplace and we're receiving feedback, and if the feedback may feel negative, it's good because feedback is the breakfast of champions. And that's pretty much how we want to shape what it is we do. Because if we know who we are meant to serve, and it's a large enough market, because remember, we want it to be a big enough problem, even if on an entertainment level, that we will be highly compensated for it in the market exchange so that we can then actually update what it is we offer so they can have the most valuable experiences moving forward. So it has to be profitable. It has to make economic sense. So we have that aside. Now, what we will find is in using business models and systems that are highly profitable and do solve large problems in the marketplace, yes, there are a lot more challenges. But that doesn't mean that you're going in the wrong direction. It may mean that you may need to pivot and adjust. And like I said, again, I learned from Myron Golden, which I kind of knew it, but I love the fact that he reiterated it and reminded me. You have to ask more of the right questions, because when you ask better questions, you get better answers. And just always remain curious in that way, but not just curious. You want to make sure that you're asking the right questions so that you can discover the foundational principles that are associated with what it is you are pursuing, right? And because you need an evergreen foundation, one that you know that is always going to work when you observe it properly, right? Any foundational principle, any proven evergreen principle is foundational, and it will work for no matter who is observing it. No matter your culture, no matter how you look aesthetically, no matter your financial background or what you're experiencing currently financially, if you observe proven evergreen principles, they will be foundational in the sense that they will work for you if you properly observe them. So we can have hope and optimism when it comes to these challenges we will inevitably face. That's just a natural part of life. Disruption will always follow our intention. That's just a natural pattern of life. Even if you aren't a God believer, just study any inventors, entrepreneurs, scientists, and even in your own life, you had to go through several iterations before you got the result that you were looking for, whether it is, and I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but like I said, when you learn how to walk, when you learn how to speak, when you learn how to spell, write, read, all of those things, it requires iteration, right? Even when you're starting a new job and you're placed in a certain position within that job, and you are required to learn a skill set related to that position, you're going to have to go through several iterations before you master it, right? Just like tying your shoe. And then next thing you know, it's almost like you could do it with your eyes closed. Now, I don't mean that literally, because there are some safety concerns in some of these positions. So, of course, you don't want to close your eyes, but you get where I'm coming from. I just really wanted to give the message, just persist. And even if people misunderstand you and they doubt you, what we have to accept and we don't need to wrestle with, most people are not visionaries, even though they have the ability to become visionaries, right? So a lot more people need to see it in order to believe it. And that shouldn't discourage us. What we should be encouraged by is that, okay, even if it is that way, and yes, we naturally have the burden of proof. Once you do the inputs and you ultimately get the output by the grace of God, they'll be able to see it. And a lot of times they will react in a positive way. There's only very few people that will have resentment and envy towards you if you prove them wrong, in a sense. And we're not doing it to prove them wrong. We're doing it to prove it can be done, right? And my approach is this. When I'm doing any endeavor, and yes, it could be seen as highly ambitious, the things that I pursue, but the whole point is not to be glorifying myself. First, I'm going to glorify God first and foremost as a believer. But it's really to say, look at what we can do when we apply ourselves. Look at what we are capable of when we focus, right? When we move intentionally. Look at the gifts that God has blessed us with that we simply have to develop for our own experiences. And that's all I'm saying. So there's no need for us to be envious or resentful of someone else's success or covet their success. All it is a picture of what's possible, and we can approach our own version of that success in our own unique way. So my overall message is, please, guys, continue to persist. And of course, quit what doesn't work, right? And make sure that you do the proper iterations and pivot to what is already proven to work, and always express it in your unique way, right? Because you matter. You are one of a kind. I hope this message was a blessing to you guys, and I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your week. Have a blessed